Something told me it was over when I saw you and her talking. Something deep down in my soul said, cry, girl. When I saw you and that girl walking out. Oh, I would rather go blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me, child. Ooh, so you see, I love you so much that I just don't wanna watch you leave me, baby. But most of all, I just don't wanna be free now. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Hi, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out I'd Rather Go Blind by the great Etta James. Now the arrangement that we're looking at today is specifically designed for the guys doing the stage 2 of my beginners course. So you only know A, D and E chords, and as well A minor, D minor and E minor. And this song's fantastic for that because it only uses the chords D and E minor. Now I'm going to take you through this whole version first using just these two chords, but any of you more advanced guys might want to flick a bit further forward in the tune, and I'm going to show you how to add some of those embellishments and how to play it using some other chord grips as well, just in case you want to explore that. But to start off with, we need a capo on the 7th fret. Now again, if you're a beginner, you don't need to have the capo on unless you're going to play along with the original recording, okay? So you don't actually need it. You could just be practicing exactly the same chords, the D and the E minor, in the open position, doesn't matter. Just you put the capo on to put it in the same key as the original song. So, and this is a lovely song to play along with, so I would recommend that you do that if you got a capo. So the two chords that we've got are a D chord, which we play for 1 bar. That would be 4 strums in the most simple form. Then we change to an E minor chord. And we're going to play that for 2 bars, which would be a total of 8 strums if we're just strumming once on each beat. And then we go back to the D chord for a bar. And that's the chord sequence for the whole song. So that would be D, 2, 3, 4 to E minor, 2, 3, 4. E minor again, 2, 3, 4, and then back to D. And it's such a nice ballad, you know, it can work like that. So D. Something told me it was E minor. 2nd bar. When I saw you and her, D. Sequence again. Something deep down in my E minor, girl. E minor again. When I saw you and that girl D'ing out. And you can literally play the whole tune like that, and it sounds great to play along with the record. And it is just D chord, E minor chord, straight 4 to the bar strumming. Now, if you want to start making a little bit more fancy, particularly if you're playing it on your own, like if you're doing it along with the record, that sounds great. But if you're doing it on your own with a singer, you might want to try and pick things up a little bit. So the first thing that you might want to explore is changing the rhythm a little bit. So keeping those same 2 chords, but then try doing triplet strumming, but all down strums. Now triplet strumming, I'm meaning 4 down strums in each beat. So they're kind of fast. If I just do it on the D chord there, instead of having this 1, 2, 3, 4, we think 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, Okay, there's a few different ways to count it, but it's still the same. There's the beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. But we just divide each one of those into 3. Okay, and we use all down strums for this. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And back to D. 2, 3, 4. Once you feel really confident doing all of those downstrokes, so you got the idea of keeping that hand moving. So when you're doing the 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. The hand's just going to keep moving. Even whether you're playing or not, the hand's still going and keeping you in time. Okay? Once you've got to that point, you might want to start adding in some upstrokes. About keeping that hand moving, keeping the hand going all the time, and then just allowing yourself to add some of those up strums in. That's really the way that you want to try and get into the idea of trying to embellish that strumming a little bit, rather than, it doesn't want to be really straight. And this is really important, that you can play this song just with that real simple strumming. It'll sound cool. Don't be in a hurry to try and make it too fancy. But once you're there and you can get that hand moving, and you can do it consistently with the triplets, that is dividing each beat into 3, then you might want to start thinking about adding some of those up strums in. Now, the other thing that you might have noticed in the little intro I did there with Selena, and thanks Selena for coming to sing for me for that, is there's this kind of little riff. All of this is really these two notes. It's playing the open 5th string. I mean, open, it's got the cap on, but no fingers on the 5th string, and then the 2nd fret, or 2 frets higher than the capo on the 5th string. Okay, so if you're doing that on a D, and it's happening on the 2nd and 3rd triplets of beat 4, so 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. 4 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can either reach it from my D chord, I can just lift off my 1st finger as I play that open 5th string, put my 1st finger down on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then move it back to the D. So 4 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet, 1. Okay, and once you've put all of that other strumming in as well, show you that trick in a sec here. 4 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet, 1. Okay, and the other thing that I'm doing sometimes is doing these little hammer-ons. Okay, so I'm just starting with the chord off, and then hammering the fingers onto the chord. Just a little kind of fancy effect. There, right on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Do it on every beat, but that'll be a little bit over the top. Okay, so that's another thing that you might want to try out. There's got not really actually much of a kind of a proper worked out way of doing that, really. I'm just kind of making it up as I go along and trying out a few different things and seeing where my ear takes me, and that's a good way for you to approach something like that as well. Don't feel like it has to be too regimented. Now, I mentioned that I'd talk about the other chords. So if we were playing this without a capo, when we're doing this first chord, when we're doing a D chord with a capo at the 7th fret, it actually sounds like an A chord. So if I'm just using my finger now instead of a capo, but that chord, it's the same sound as the regular A chord. And the E minor chord with the capo at the 7th fret, now the guitar sounds a little bit ropily out of tune, actually, which is a very good time to introduce another idea that's very important. When you put a capo on, especially quite far up, like at the 7th fret, you really need to tune the guitar with the capo on. Okay, because the pressure of the capo pressing down on the strings up that far changes the tuning a little bit. So whenever if you've got a capo, I mean, actually I tune every time I put a capo on, actually, really, but in the first few frets it's less of a big deal than it is right up here at the 7th fret. If you're putting a capo on up here, you've really got to put the capo on, remember, nice and close to the fret, then tune the guitar, and then you're ready to play. Okay, because if you tune with the open strings and then put the capo on, it's very likely to sound out of tune, which is what's just happened as I've taken the capo off. Now it's starting to sounding pretty hazardous, actually. So I'm going to talk you through these chords rather than playing them now. So I was saying before I rudely interrupted myself with that bad tuning, that the E minor chord with the capo at the 7th fret is actually a B minor chord. Some of you might, any of you more advanced players might recognize I'm playing a B minor bar chord there now. So actually, if you wanted to play along with the record as well, you could be using an open A chord and a B minor chord. Okay, that would work. It sound exactly the same, and it's one of those things that you might like to try use, especially if you've got somebody else that you're working with. You know, have one person with a capo there, and if the other person's a bit better and they can do it with an open A chord and then a B minor bar chord, that would sound really cool. There's quite a few other options as well. You could put a capo on the 2nd fret, and then you could use a G grip. Still sounding pretty hazardous. I can't speak today properly, I'm very sorry. If you use a G grip, sounds like an A chord if you've got the capo on at the 2nd fret. So you could be using a G chord to an A minor chord, because the A minor grip with the capo at the 2nd fret sounds like B minor. Still the same thing. And a really interesting thing about a tune like this, because it's only got 2 chords, as long as your first chord, which is a major chord, and the 2nd chord is a tone above, that's 2 frets above, and it's a minor chord, it's going to have the right relationship there. So if you want to explore it like finding a key that's good for your voice, you might say pick a C chord, C major chord as the first chord, and the next chord you think, well, the next like 2 frets up from C would be the note D, so D minor. So you could use C major chord and D minor chord. Or if you chose the G chord, you could use G chord and then up 2 frets from G is A minor chord. If you wanted to use E major chord as the first one, you go up 2 frets from E, you go E, F, F sharp, so you'd have to play E and F sharp minor. Obviously a little bit more complicated for a beginner, but you get the idea. You can actually do any chords, any 2 chords, as long as it's a major chord with a minor chord a tone above it, and you're going to have the right harmonic structure to play this tune. So there's just some little extra food for thought. But again, if any of you beginners are still watching at this point, don't let it get you confused. It's really important. Just start with the D and the E minor and enjoy playing that. Add some of those fancy rhythms if you want. I just wanted to expand it a little bit so you can see some of the possibilities for this tune later on. And I'll put these additional notes as well on the website if you're still a bit confused about these different capo positions. It's a little easier to see written down, easier to do the maths, I reckon. So I hope you have fun with this lesson, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.